All right, 1 o'clock on the dot. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Courtney. I'm one of the enrollment coordinators over here at the Citadel Graduate College and Degree Completion Program Admissions Office. This is our program spotlight series. Today we are highlighting our nursing transfer 2+2 program. And we have Dr. Sabasic here with us today to give a little bit of a program overview, answer any additional questions that you have, and then I'll be able to talk a little bit more about the application process and what that looks like for us here.
Okay, terrific. Hello, everybody. My name is Kim Sibasic. As I was already introduced, I'm very happy to hear of your interest in our Department of Nursing and the nursing education that we provide. This first picture here, I wanted to show you, this is the graduating class from last year for students who were in our evening program. This current year, we had 22 students apply into the program. And so our program continues to grow. And I just wanted to give you just a view of a lot of happy faces at the completion of the program. And I just really, we really enjoyed teaching them. So what I would like to do today and talk to you about is the foundations of nursing are heavily, heavily rooted in the sciences. And so those science classes are part of those prerequisites that come in. And I'm going to talk more about those on the next screen. What I'd like to show you here is this was another graduating class of students that were both in the evening cohort and in the cadet program. But the Swain Department of Nursing, in attendance were the Swain family members here, Mr. and Mrs. Swain and his brother, Mr. David Swain, and his wife. So it was really great to have them attend the pinning ceremony. We're a small group. It takes place in our chapel, and it is really just a very special time in nursing. This picture down here is our nursing faculty members, and most of these nurses these are all full-time faculty. This person here is our administrative assistant, Miss Adele Hunt, and we also have probably another 10 to 12 adjunct clinical faculty who will also help us with that particular part of the educational process. So most of these instructors here will be in your classroom-based teaching. Some you will see in the clinical setting, and then others that are part-timers are part of that clinical teaching. So I mentioned the sciences being very critical to success in nursing. So what I have in front of you right now is the 2+2 or the college transfer program curriculum grid. This grid, as you will see on this left-hand side, these are the classes that you are able to transfer into the program to have credit for those. So that way, when you do start the nursing program, you will start right here and you will go right into the nursing classes. What is critical? So for many of you that are considering applying, what is critical are these right here. These are these science courses. There are 5 of them that absolutely must be completed because there's no way once you start this part of the nursing program that you will have any time to fit in the requirements of those courses on top of the nursing courses. And in some cases, many of these other science classes here are prerequisites to the nursing program. So I'd like to take a minute and talk about each one of these so that way you make sure that this is what you have on your transcript as being completed when you do apply. So Anatomy and Physiology 1, as well as Anatomy and Physiology 2, these would have labs with them. So in total, they would be 4 credits. A general chemistry class and a lab, that could be a 100-level chemistry course, microbiology and a lab, and then we also have biology, which is an entry-level bio, like a Bio 100 is fine, and that would also have a lab course. So all of these sciences truly are critical for your application to progress in the nursing program. We do understand that in some cases when our classes are starting, you might be at the process of finishing a final exam or something for one of these classes. In that case, what we do is we offer a conditional status. So we say that based on your transcripts, you look like you have the probability to succeed in nursing, but we can't offer an absolute full admission because we don't have those final prerequisites. So what will we do in that case is we will submit to you a notice indicating a conditional acceptance. And so we will allow you to go ahead and register for this Intro to Nursing course. And then by the time this class is over, we would want to have confirmation being with official transcripts sent to the registrar that you have passed whatever other outstanding science course was there. So these classes here, so you would need 6 credits of English courses, 3 credits of a history, These social sciences here, we prefer that you have general psychology. Developmental psychology might also show up as growth and development, is what some of your courses might title it as, and then a sociology course. And then here you need to have a general math class. General math class meaning entry-level math or algebra. You do not need anything more than algebra. So that you have flexibility there, but I don't want you taking calculus or trig. It's not needed for nursing. And then statistics will also be another class you would transfer in. If by chance you don't have a statistics course completed or you don't have a sociology course completed, there are possibilities for you to complete that class, and you could do it during this midsummer right here. So if those are the couple courses that are outstanding, we can work with that, and that would be, we would make sure that we have documented that you are aware that those need to be completed prior to graduation. So those we can fit in. It's these sciences here that are critical because of their prerequisite work for any of these courses. One more piece I'd like to mention about the sciences is that you have to have your sciences completed within the last 5 years. And so the reason that we want that is we do know the correlation between success in those classes and success in nursing. They truly do feed into the content that you have in nursing. So I know this page is a lot, but I want to take another minute and go through this left side of the page, or excuse me, the right side. So here you would start Intro to Nursing. This class typically happens in the first week of May. It is a condensed course, so we call it Summer 1. And then this Summer 2 would happen probably about the end of June to the beginning of August. And these are the courses that would take place in that particular time frame. At this point, we move into a very traditional fall schedule, spring schedule. So this fall schedule here, these classes would be taken and they would start in right now, actually, around August and finish in December. These would start in January and finish around May. And then you would have one more summer session here. This would be a medical surgical class and a clinical, so kind of adult health. And then you would go back to your traditional fall and traditional spring, and then you would graduate this spring. So our nursing courses, the entry-level courses as we consider them to be, are going to be health assessment, nursing fundamentals, and introduction to nursing. So you will take them in that order: intro to nursing, health assessment, and then nursing fundamentals. Both health assessment and nursing fundamentals have a skills lab that is applied to both of those courses. So when you have the lab component, those classes are usually 3 hours in length. So these are some pictures, just a few clinical sites where our students have gone. We do have a student nursing association, but we have the reason I want to show this. So some clinicals take place out in the community. Other ones take place in our skills lab. We also have a high fidelity simulation lab. And then we also have in the hospital. So hospital being anywhere in our drivable area, I would say, that probably within a 45-minute radius, multiple hospitals, outpatient sites, clinics, schools. So depending on the type of clinical it is, will vary where the clinical setting will take place. So those clinical days, they typically last for those students in the evening program from 3 to 9 p.m. So as far as adjusting your schedules, 3 to 9 p.m. is what we do. There are some occasions, such as with community health, where we give you options to sign up for other opportunities in advance, something that might be on a Friday or a weekend. To get to that 9 o'clock on an evening clinical is quite difficult. So we try to put a variety of options out there for the student and get them to log in utilizing other opportunities for those. Your classes that have clinicals, as mentioned, your health assessment and nursing fundamentals has a small amount of clinical. You will be in the lab for the most of that and then into the clinical setting. But then you will go into adult health 1, 2, and 3, obstetrics, pediatrics, mental health, community health. And then at the very, very end, your last semester, you would have a precepted learning experience. And that is when you would partner with a nurse who you would shadow for a period of hours, and it would be a direct one-on-one learning opportunity with that particular nurse. And then there would also be course content that correlates to that class. So, other nursing opportunities that we do have study abroad opportunities. Many students in our evening nursing program have utilized these opportunities, participated in a study abroad class that goes to Honduras. It's just a couple-week class, takes place right about sugar. It's right before your classes start for health assessment, but there's an opportunity to take the to do the study abroad opportunity at the completion. It would be right about the mid semester of when you're in the middle of the program. So a trip to Honduras is one. Another opportunity, which are these, is something that takes place in upstate New York, and it is a large scale disaster simulation. This myself and some others who participated as leaders in it for the past few years, but we've had students go every year, and it is just a really, really unique learning opportunity that we'd be more than happy to talk to you about if you have interest in doing that. Our Student Nursing Association is student-led and supported by faculty. That is whatever the students want to do to engage in expanding their nursing awareness, guest speakers, activities, volunteer opportunities. They assisted in the medical tent at the Cooper River Bridge Run. So these are all things that are student-generated. Sigma Theta Tau International, that is a national or an international honor society that students are invited to attend, and it's only offered to the top 35% of the class based on the regulations of Sigma Theta Tau. And we also, within the school, have an honors program and the opportunity for research. If a student is interested in conducting research to some level, a faculty member, it could be a student, faculty-led research opportunity. And we let that, if a student has an interest, bring it to us, and we will move it around the faculty and see whether or not we can help you do that. And it's wonderful for students that they can present their findings at a conference in the spring. I do also try to find money within my budget to support student activity at the Student Nurses Association conference that takes place in Columbia every year. I really support the, student learning in that conference setting and understanding what it means to be a part of these communities that are external to you, but really guide where student nurses are and would lead to your professional development as a nurse. So I think that's all that I have for you. These are some other members of our students that are in our evening program, and they opted to hold a what do I say, a football game event, like a tailgating football game event. And so again, student led. So wherever your interests are in the program, we are here to support that. And I think that's all that I have, and I am ready to take any questions.
Perfect. Like we said, anybody feel free to throw some questions in the Q&A box, and we can answer those for you. Some of the questions that we get asked pretty often regarding the program are what entry terms are available to apply? Is there a deadline? What timeline works best for applicants?
So the timeline, I would say, if you have your sciences done, those 5 sciences are critical. If they are done, I'd say go ahead and put in your application. If you're still working on them, the application wouldn't be viewed yet because it would be perceived as being incomplete. So I would say do your best to at least get through the fall semester and show us the best of what you have. Let us know what you're registered and you're taking. And then you could apply then. And if you really wanted, you could also contact the admissions department, send them an email, let us know what your midterm grades are. That would also help us. But it's very hard for us to render any kind of decision without having those 5 sciences completed.
Do you find that students only typically start in the summer, or are there cases where students would start in a fall or spring term?
That's a wonderful question. Our program only starts, we have one admitting cohort, and we only start in May. So the applications are open now. We do rolling admissions, meaning that if you want to submit your stuff and it is ready to go and it looks like a pretty full application, then we will go ahead and look at it and give you a decision based on when it comes in within a few days. So that way you could start your planning. But as far as you move as a cohort, all students would start in that May semester. So you would start that first week of May, and then you would move through the program for that 2-year completion. When you graduate, you will have a BSN in nursing, and then you will sit for the national licensure exam, which would take place after you graduate. You would schedule that as the graduate. You would schedule that to your convenience, and we always say as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And like she said, if anybody has any questions, the admissions department is here to help as well. Regarding transcripts, any questions you have about those classes. All right. This is kind of coincides with one of the questions I was going to ask. Is there a maximum amount of students that are admitted? How many, is it a competitive program?
It is competitive. We do need a GPA. I failed to mention we do need a GPA of at least a 2.7 and above. We do look for that. So from that perspective, yes. As far as the number of students, it varies. Our cohort could take up to approximately 35 to 40 students, but it really varies per cohort. But competitive, yes.
And then another one of my questions that also coincides with the student question, is how does this work with students who are working professionals or working full-time? Is there part-time options available? How does that typically look?
The majority of our students in the evening program are students who they are juggling home life, jobs. Many of them work as patient care techs, or they're in the process of a career change and starting to work as a patient care tech. But that is probably the most common group of students that I want to say the most common component of all our students. However, I have had a few students who have gone right from high school where they had gotten advanced placement classes, did a year of community college, and then came right into our evening program. And they have done well. So yeah, we do have a couple students here and there that come in that I would say are outside the average student that we see coming in that tends to be, I would say, a mid 20-year-old to even up to probably a 35, 40-year-old. Not to say career changes, it's whatever suits people in life. The balance is tight. As one could imagine, but I think that's true of anything. Life is time management. Certainly, nursing skills require time management. So they can do it. It's been done multiple years in a row. We try to give you all the information that we can in advance, especially so that students can schedule their around work-related needs, home needs, etc. So we are cognizant of that and try to work with that as best we can. Yeah.
Because the program is more cohort based, do students take the same amount of classes as their peers each semester, or is there flexibility with how many classes you're taking?
They do tend to follow as a cohort. I have had some students step out for whatever reasons. It could have been personal reason. I've had somebody step out for deployment reasons. I mean, it could be anything. And at that point, we try to pull them back in as far as where we can fit them in the curriculum. These classes only happen, they are very sequential. We don't offer them all year long like other colleges might, like a community college just offers a repeating track. Ours don't do that. So they will fall within, if you miss a class that typically takes place in the fall, it won't be offered again until the fall. So in those cases, if a student steps out, it will put them back a year. But it's still, I'd rather somebody step out and be successful and do it at a pace that's successful for them rather than go through the program and fail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have an idea of what the typical schedule looks like? Is there certain days that classes are? How does that scheduling typically work?
So clinicals will take place 2 times a week for most of your nursing courses. I can't give you an exact date right now because we are totally dependent on our clinical partners. So the way that works, as with most schools, is you send out a request and you say, hey, I'd like to have these clinicals on this day or that day. But it's at most schools, we're all raising our hand. So the hospitals and other agencies have to do kind of a shake it out sort of system to go who's where, what's happening. So basically, we are dependent upon them when we get our final clinical schedule. So, but it's usually 2 days a week that the student can basically guess or know that they will be in clinical twice a week. And for the classes, I told you the time frame for the classes being 3 to 9. So that's the clinicals take place 3 to 9, but the classes are going to be from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you. And then my last question, looks like we got all the live questions answered. My last question is, outside of grades, what do you typically look for in applicants?
We look to see like if you're a patient care tech or you're something in a clinical based setting is always helpful because we know that okay that means you that capacity to apply what you're already doing or that you're coming with a foundational knowledge is certainly a plus. It is not a requirement by any means, but that is something that would if somebody's considering doing that, getting a job in any type of healthcare, I would highly recommend that just being in that environment, hearing the language, the terminology, even just a recognition like, oh, I remember a patient that had that before, whatever that may be, whatever that illness or injury might be. But it helps a student to start making it all relatable. So that is certainly a plus.
Absolutely. I did see we have another anonymous question in the chat about if you're finishing your last two sciences, by the end of the fall semester, is there a chance to be accepted into the program? So yes, definitely send over your transcripts. If you want to go ahead and order them twice, you can send them now and send them after the class is finished. But even after the fall semester, there's definitely plenty of time to get everything submitted for the spring deadline. So definitely, if you have any specific questions, definitely reach out to us in the admissions office and we can help you out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Right. So like we talked about, there is, the whole application process that you're going to want to start pretty much as soon as you know that you are ready to start this chapter of, your educational journey. If you have all those sciences completed, definitely go ahead and start your application. Ensure you're applying for a valid entry term, so that'll be that summer semester. And then you can enter the code Go Dogs on the application to waive the fee, so you don't have to pay any money to apply. And then after you complete the application, you're going to upload any supplemental items that are available. You're going to upload them to your application status page, or you can send them over to us if you have any issues with getting those uploaded. For this application specifically, you're going to upload a valid ID, and the forms are listed that we accept on there as well. You're going to order any official transcripts to be sent directly from the institution to us here at the Citadel. And then there is also a nursing questionnaire that will be completed that has a bunch of different questions, kind of little things that we talked about today. Have you taken so-and-so class? There is also a written response on that page as well. Again, it really is a true 2+2. Try and get as many classes completed out of the way. That way you can graduate and get through all your nursing classes with no problems, and make sure those sciences are completed within 5 years of applying. And then again, the application timeline. So after you submit the initial online application, usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll get processed in our system, generated to that status page where you can then upload those materials, request any transcripts. We recommend doing them electronically if you can, if your school does that. If they're mailed, it definitely takes a lot longer. And after that, if we have everything that we need, you'll typically get a decision pretty quickly, usually within 5 to 10 business days. And then your decision is sent via email, posted to your portal. And if we need anything or we see anything that doesn't look quite right, we'll reach out to you and help you resolve that so your application is complete. And again, if you have any questions, definitely contact us. We have our main line and email up there, as well as my email. I'm Courtney. Shelby's in the chat, and Greg is our director of admissions. He's great as well. We are happy to answer any questions. If you have any random questions, we can always help direct you to the right place as well. I don't believe that there is anything else that we have for today. So if we are all set, we can go ahead and wrap up. I just wanted to thank Dr. Sabasic again. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Today's the first day of class, so we appreciate you being here and taking the time to meet with us, talk with some students, and help get some questions answered. Again, if anybody has any questions, definitely reach out to us. We're here to help.
Look forward to meeting y'all.